So let me just say this, okay? There's a lot of people in your environment who are willing to help. So for those of you who are dealing with this energy, where there's a lot of tasks that needs your attention, a lot of things that you have to take care of, responsibilities, the minutia of the day, you know, going through the motions, grocery store, washing the dishes, house chores, and then on top of that, the work that you are expected to complete. So I do feel like the later part of this month is a lot more about revisiting things, redoing things. And if you are in a position where you're overseeing the work that other people are doing, I feel like you try delegating, and for whatever reason, the other people might not do things properly, and they might not do things to your liking, or they might be a little bit sloppy when it comes to the work that they're doing. And then it ends up on your desk, and you have to be the one to kind of sift through it and figure out where they went wrong so that you can give them feedback. Okay, so I do feel it's going to be a very busy latter part of March. And as a result of it, you know, you have to keep your wits about you. You have to stay sharp, and you have to, you know, I feel like be very, very, very careful about the information that comes across your desk. And especially assess a situation very objectively. So taking the extra time in order to arrive at the best solution or the best decision, that is very crucial. And what I'm seeing is there's a lot of people in your environment. There are a lot of people that are capable, that are willing to help, that you can delegate responsibilities to. And it's showing up here with the Six of Pentacles. This is a generosity and kindness, you know, delegating as well, you know, giving pieces to other people. And so there will be helpers coming out of the woodwork in order to assist you, in order to for you to bounce ideas off of, in order to give you that clarity of mind and clear insight as to what the best optimal decision is going to be. So I feel like turn to your trusted confidant, turn to the people that you highly trust when it comes to their skills and their capabilities, okay? You're not alone in all of this. And I feel like you need a sounding board. You need somebody to give you possibly an objective opinion or, you know, a different perspective so that you can solve problems, so that you can arrive at a better, I feel, conclusion towards a situation. Okay, so what I have here is the Four of Swords, and the Four of Swords is rest and relaxation. Okay, so there's a lot that will require your responsibilities. That will require. There are a lot of responsibilities that will require your attention. Excuse me. And so I see like waves. Okay, so a lot of things come at once, and then there's a little bit of a calm, like a lull, for a few days where you can kind of relax. So this ebb and flow between lots of work as well as rest and restoration in between. And so I see this, you know, the waves of people, okay? Things come in, you have to tend to them, and there's a lull, and then the next batch of major things come in, you have to attend to, and then there's a lull. So it's going to come in waves. And as a result of it, whenever you have downtime, take the time to do whatever you need to do. Whenever there's, you know, a little bit of a lull, take the vacation. Whenever there's a little bit of whenever you see the energy start picking up, and I feel like you're going to sense it intuitively, you know, a few days before it comes, whenever you anticipate that next wave of energy or that next wave of big responsibilities coming in, you need to really trust it and honor it and reserve the time and the emotional and mental space in order to take care of these things. Okay. So I feel like it's going to require that you are flexible, and you guys are immutable signs. So you're going to be super flexible. It's going to require that you are fast on your toes and that you trust, that you really trust that this too shall end. So when that big wave of responsibilities come in, take care of it and just know that, you know, once it's done, it's going to be done. And then you're going to have a little bit of R&R at the end of it. Okay. The other thing I'm seeing here, there's a situation that is potentially giving you anxiety or creating some type of What I'm seeing here is, well, let me show you the cards. Nine of Swords, restless night, a little bit of guilt, and a little bit of regret. Okay, Nine of Swords. It's linked up here with the Devil. And the Devil is a source of, it's a situation. I don't see toxicity, not in this context, because the surrounding cards are very, very, very good. I feel like there's somebody that you're giving energy to, okay? Like, I almost feel like you're helping them grow. You're helping them find their way. You're giving them a lot of, there's a lot of communication and contact, because this Nine of Swords indicates that. There's potentially a lot of attraction between the two of you too. I have Capricorn energy, and then I have Taurus energy. So Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. So earth signs, and then I also have an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, and Gemini also comes out very strongly. So I feel like there is a very, very strong attraction. There's also some type of guilt associated with this interaction between you and this person. I also feel like the communication itself on the surface, it can be a little bit snippy, you know, bantering back and forth, criticism, and things like that. And I feel almost like this nagging type of energy exchange between you and this person. But then I also feel like the energy itself is very exalted, okay? Because with the Six of Coins, it indicates generosity. It indicates that two people who are willing to kind of like benefit from the interaction, from the exchange. And I also feel like, you know, if you are thinking about a course of action and you're coming to somebody to ask for their advice, they're not going to tell you what, you know, they're not like a yes man. They're not going to tell you what they think you want to hear. They're going to be very, very brutally honest. So I feel like you have somebody in your midst who's totally honest, whose brutal honesty can sometimes be a little bit too much. But you know this about them. And as a result of it, you seek them out, not because they're a yes man. You seek them out because you trust their guidance. You trust their counsel. And I feel as a result of it, they guide you, keep you on the straight and narrow, and they provide the insights that will allow you to make the best decision. So the interaction between the two of you is not always smooth sailing. There's like, I'm seeing like, you know, the spurts here, like communication comes in spurts. Okay. So it comes in heavily, and then it subsides, and then it comes in heavily again. But then I also feel for some of you, you're dealing with some internal guilt. I feel like there's a situation here that you are trying to snip your way out of. You're trying to move forward or move away from it with this Devil energy. He's got like a little small pair of scissors. He wants to cut his way out. He doesn't want to be controlled. He doesn't want to work under anybody else's thumbs. So I'm seeing this energy about somebody being wrapped around somebody's thumbs, and they're revolting or not wanting to be in control anymore, wanting to be in control of their own life, wanting to make a decision, and wanting to do the right thing, and I'm seeing as well, free up some resources so that you can give it to people who really, really need it. Okay. So I don't know in what capacity, you're working at, or I don't know if this is even in a personal, like, in a personal capacity where you feel like there's a situation here. You might be financially constrained and forced to do things a specific way when you feel like the funds are better allocated towards a specific avenue. And I feel like you're going to be able to cut away the restrictions to be able to move the funds around in order to do other things that you feel would have a better outcome. Okay. So for those of you who are like in contract monitor positions, and for those of you who are overseeing other people's money or even sorting out your financial situation, there's going to be some type of reprieve, a way to allow you to shift to smooth things out and to allow you to shift funds around so that it meets your own individual needs, okay? Or if you're managing other people's funds, you're able to find loopholes in order to be able to siphon the funds off and into a different avenue that will be really beneficial for people. I feel like you've been conflicted with a major choice here, a major decision, mulling it over back and forth, wanting to make this decision on your own, but there have been so many people just chiming in, okay? So those messengers on horseback, I feel like in a way, each person comes with their own agenda or their own information, and they want you to act based on the information that they give you. So it's not like a band of people bandwagoning. I don't see that. I feel like each of them feel like their perspective or the information they're about to give is just as important as the next person. And they want you to make a decision based on what the information they're giving you. So in a way, you're kind of roped around or constrained by other people. And you might have been in this state for a while. I'm feeling like, for a long while. And it's gotten to the point where you might feel like you're not free to act, okay? You're tethered. And it's gotten to the point where you're dealing with people who might be, snippy or infringing or asking you like, why aren't you making a decision? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing what I tell you? And then I feel there is definitely a period here where you're trying to break away, okay? I do see this energy as something that has always been in your environment. And you're coming to the realization, during this Mercury retrograde, when we start, Mercury retrograde is a time when, your ruling planet, Mercury, is not visible. It's taking a wacky turn and it's going in reverse position. As a result of it going reverse, we have to rely a lot on things that are under the surface, our intuition. And we have to make decisions and analyze situation and feel things out based on that space. And it's not a comfortable realm for an air sign like yourself to operate under. But what you're going to start to see as we head out of it by the end of this month, moving into April, is that you're being guided to really, really trust your intuition. Trust who's got your best interests at heart. And especially trust that you need to make decisions and not be coerced, not bandwagoning, not be pressured into a specific course of action because people have their own agendas. Okay, so I feel like there might be a situation where you have a lot of work piled on and you're trying to just move the work away from your desk or away from your vicinity. And you might not be looking at the situation objectively. So it's really, really important to take a second glance, okay? And if your intuition is telling you there's something here that I need to dig a little bit further, by all means, use up the extra time in order to do that, because I feel like, things that are not done right the first time, they're going to be returned to be revisited. So I do see this energy here. And that might be the area that's creating more work for you. So if it was done the right way the first time, the work wouldn't pile up to begin with. Okay. So what I'm seeing here, we have here the Two of Wands. This is somewhat of a long distance relationship, okay? Communication or being in a relationship or interacting with a person that is quite far away from you. And what I have here is, I feel like, you're dealing with someone who's very, very busy. You yourself are very, very busy. And so communication between the two of you is very, very sporadic. I also see you contemplating a trip, contemplating going to see a person. I see you looking at the person, contemplating, like wanting to do it, wanting to move forward, wanting to kind of dive in. And like I mentioned with the beginning of the month, the March reading, It's all about testing the waters before you jump right in. So I feel like many of you are trepidatious, like hesitant about a specific plan, about moving forward. So you're just on this hill, scoping out, scouting the territory, looking at a situation, analyze the situation, but not really making any type of a gesture, steps towards something. So I feel like something really demands your attention, or there's somebody in the picture that is at a distance from you. They're incredibly busy. This is showing up as somebody that, you know, you might have a tremendous amount of feelings for. We have the Lovers card. This is a really good card when it comes to relationship, because it indicates the polarity, okay, the masculine, feminine energies between people. And you don't even have to be in, you know, heterosexual relationships to experience this. It basically means it's a complementary relationship between two people. One person has something that the other person is lacking. It doesn't indicate compatibility to begin with, but it indicates a perspective change that the other person is bringing into your life. They're opening up a sense of awareness. You likewise are bringing into the fold in this union some type of a paradigm shift, or helping them see a situation from a different vantage point. So in a way, the two of you really complete each other, or there's just great complementarity between the two of you. And as a result of it, I feel like, you know, I'm seeing some guilt here. Okay. So I don't know why that's coming up. I don't know if they have been like the balance, the give and take, might also be a little bit off kilter in some capacity. I feel like they might have been putting in a lot of the effort, a lot of the work, and you're feeling a little bit guilty that they're shouldering the responsibilities. You want to reciprocate, but at the same time, I see you being very busy, Geminis, and I see you hesitant about, you know, about contributing. And with this Knight of Coins and the Two of Wands, it's almost like two options. You know, which way do I go? And it's almost like which way will yield the more tangible results? Okay, because the Knight of Pentacles is an earth energy. They're very practical, very earthy, very much about long-term longevity, long-term results, long-term sustaining power. So you might be dealing with somebody that you feel is a little bit more fickle, and you're not really trusting whether or not to move towards them because of their fickleness, or because of your perception of their fickleness. But I definitely feel there's a lot more beneath the surface. And so I feel like, you know, it's not so much about trusting what's being said. It's more about gauging your emotional responses in a situation, because that is what's really going to guide you towards making the right assessment and the right decision. Okay. Drown out the noise and the spectacle and the red herring. You really, really need to kind of, pull back and really look at really trust your gut instincts when it comes to people. You guys are a really good judge of character anyways. Really trust that inner voice to steer you in the right direction with the right people. Okay. So I have an air sign here. So Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And I feel like this person might be very pivotal in your life. So this is someone who's very intelligent. Okay, they've already mastered the mind. Okay, so they're kind of like what I call the tactician. They come up with a game plan. They come up with a strategy. They come up with like very ingenious ways of doing. And it's very unprecedented. So this is somebody who's already mastered the realm of mental clarity. Their sword energies usually cuts through the confusion. They cut through the BS. They're very succinct communicator. And I also feel like this bird with the little branch on his beak, it's communication, a peace offering. And especially some type of a communication between two people where it could be a little bit more on the surface. Okay. But I feel like there's a playful energy between you and this person. And then I also feel as well, there's vast distances, like immense distance. And it's really, really hard for this person to open up emotionally. So if they have, in whatever capacity, open up to you emotionally, it's going to feel, you have to trust what they tell you at face value. Okay. Because with this energy, they're all about speaking the truth, and they're all about conveying information in a very straightforward, linear way, so that no one is going to be confused when they deliver a message. So I definitely feel like you just need to kind of trust this at face value. So I'm seeing this person might be somewhat instrumental in trying to help you with something, or trying to give you clarity on a situation. And if you are in a capacity where you don't know where to turn, this could be somebody who could be your best ally. Okay. So for the relationships, I feel, earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, as well as air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And then I'm also seeing like a major trip that's taken, somebody leaving the picture, taking a trip out of, like, no longer in your physical vicinity. And I feel like it might create more work for you as a result of it. So it could be a partner that's leaving the picture. It could be like a coworker, a colleague. And as a result of it, you might see the work dynamics change a little bit. Like I said, the waves of responsibility coming in, there's a lull, and then another wave coming in. So plan your time. Just be very flexible. I feel, if you come in with an agenda, like Monday, I'm going to get this done. I feel like your personal schedule or your agenda is going to fly out the window the first week, mainly because things come in wave, and you just have to anticipate, and you just have to roll with the tides. Okay. Yeah, so I guess the theme here would be rolling with the tides, being flexible, being changeable, being able to be adaptable as well. And I feel as well, there's somebody here that's really, I'm seeing like the crown chakra very highly activated. So you're making a decision. It's almost like whatever trouble, whatever blockages, or whatever, if you felt like you've been hitting a brick wall and not be able to break free, or not be able to find a solution out of a predicament, you're going to be getting some type of downloads that will allow you to, and I feel you're getting downloads, or you're consulting somebody, or you're asking for advice, and you're getting some type of spiritual advice. This is spiritual ascension, okay? In order to help you navigate the energies for this month. And it could be another person even. And the Gemini energy comes out strongly, as well as Capricorn. It could be another person that's like behaving as a counselor, an advisor, or somebody to really help you look at a situation succinctly, so that you can, make the best decision.